Hello everybody and welcome to Rockingham Speedway, home of the second race of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season. Following last week's race where Rusty Wallace went on to win the Daytona 500, the person that finished second to him will sit on pole today. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starts on pole, and to his outside is Jeff Burton. Starting in third is Tony Stewart. To his outside, Jeff Gordon. Starting in fifth, Bobby Labonte. Sixth, Jimmy Johnson. Seventh, Ryan Newman. Eighth, Jeremy Mayfield. Ninth and 10th, those are Robert Yates Racing teammates as Dale Jarrett outqualifies Elliott Sadler. 11th and 12th, Roush Racing teammates Matt Kenseth and pole sitter last week, Kurt Busch. Starting 13th, Bobby Hamilton Jr., who made his way into the show but was replaced by Kyle Petty. Great starting spot for the Phoenix Racing crew. And 14th is Mark Martin. 15th, last week's winner, Rusty Wallace. To his outside, and 16th, Ward Burton. 17th, Jamie McMurray. 18th, Brian Vickers. 19th, Joe Nemechek. And 20th is Kevin Harvick. 21st, teammate of the 01 is Scott Riggs. 22nd, Brendan Gaughan. 23rd, Ricky Rudd. 24th, Greg Biffle. 25th, John Andretti. And 26th, Casey Mears. 27th, Bill Elliott. And 28th, that is Ken Schrader. 29th, Terry Labonte. 30th on his outside, that is Jimmy Spencer. 31st, Robbie Gordon. 32nd, Michael Waltrip. 33rd, Kyle Petty. 34th, and a shocking result, is Todd Bodine. 35th, Scott Wimmer. 36th, Ricky Craven. 37th, Dave Blaney. To his outside, and 38th, almost not making the show, was Johnny Sauter. 39th, Jeff Green. And 40th is Larry Foyt. 41st, Hermie Sadler. And last, that is not Sterling Marlin. Marlin qualified the 40 up in 32nd or 34th place. Instead, that will be Paul Menard taking his spot. Paul Menard DNQ'd the number 39 Chip Ganassi Racing entry, and team owner decided that the former driver of the 39 will take priority in the 40 car this race in team rankings. Let's get you to the command to fire engines here at Rockingham as we get ready for 99 laps around this racetrack.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines here have been fired. Rockingham, 42 cars begin to roar to life. Pace car will lead us around for one pace lap as we get ready, making sure, yep. No problems to report from all 42 cars. We roll away cleanly. As stated in pre-race, 99 laps await these drivers. About lap 55 to 58, that is the pit window. We do not expect any, or at least we shouldn't expect any two stops. Of course, you only pit twice if you have damage or a caution comes out early enough in the race. Field paces through the high banks. Just a quick double check, nothing to report. The field will be in the hands of the starter. We get ready, the pace car through turn 4 will make the sharp left down pit road. So we get set to go. Green flag here. Flagman has the green in the air. Green flag. A little early. Green flag is out here for Dale Jr. Jr. clear. Pulls away from the field. Tony Stewart will take over second as Jeff Burton begins to sink like a rock. Now we watch on corner exit. Turn 2 is going to be the trouble spot for these guys. They keep it clean. Pace car pulls into a spot normally. Tony Stewart into second, but it looks like it is going to be all Dale Jr. Dale Jr. will lead lap number 1. Jr. leads lap number 1 as Jeff Burton begins a drop through the field, already having lost 4 spots on the opening lap. Three wide further in the back, still green, no caution. As the field begins a single file out, this track has a very rough surface. It's all about maintaining the tires, not overworking them too much as Jeff Burton slots in line in 7th. We expect the field to single file out quite a bit early on. So we see Rusty Wallace battling for 11th here with Bobby Hamilton Jr. This track very bottom line oriented. Can't really make anything work off the top, and being 3 wide like they were right there is a dangerous spot to be in. Looking further back, Paul Menard already trying to slice through, has made up a few spots. Michael Waltrip has lost several spots, down to second to last almost. Third to last rather, he's down into 40th as Stewart makes a look to the inside on lap number 5. Can't quite get the nose of that Home Depot Chevy to the inside. Further in the back, the teammate of Tony Stewart hounding Jeff Gordon for third. Still keeping it clean in the back through there. Tony close on Junior. Labonte close on Gordon, trying to capitalize on a mistake if any of them make one. No damage to note, nothing to worry about. Seems to be everyone split off in about a 2-car pack. At least trying to. Further in the back, here's Casey Mears, not having a good run, dropping down to 32nd. Going to take 31st as Kyle Petty runs way wide through turns 3 and 4. Good run from Scott Riggs. Riggs up to 16th right now. Riggs, of course, had to be parked for failing to meet minimum speed at Daytona. Looked like just a cylinder was misfiring on that number 10. We monitor the lead battle closely. They're out to about a half-second gap over Gordon. At least Junior is. Everyone seems to be doubled up. About 2 car battle, except back here for a battle for, I believe that is 13th. Yes, that is 13th. Field slowly trying to get single filed out. Andretti and Rudd stuck on the outside. Same with Ken Schrader. Further in the back, they've got it shuffled down. Menard's only up to 39th. Seems to be struggling. Speaking of struggling is Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle all the way down in 37th. Not a good run for the 16 after having an abysmal run. Of course, DNQing the Daytona 500. Look further in the back as we'll have the field fly by us down into turn number 3. That's Kenseth looking to the inside of his teammate for 7th. Still quite a bit of jostling for position in the back. After 10 laps, the 8 car still leads. Already clicking off laps just like that. Takes about 22 seconds, sometimes faster, to get around this speedway. Looking closer towards the end of the run, getting closer to laps 40 and 50, about 2.5 seconds a tire fall off. And the move to win the race will be made on pit road. If you pit early enough, you're going to have less traffic and fresher tires, and you are going to capitalize on that 2.5, if not more, second gap. The top 2 seems to break away. Tony Stewart seems really content being stuck behind Dale Jr. Bobby Labonte beginning to fall off of Jeff Gordon. The pace difference seeming to begin to show. Looking almost a solid train back to 15th. First real battle on track. That's going to be Casey Mears. Looking to battle Robbie Gordon for 25th. Will slot back in line as Ricky Rudd sends it in deep. Same with Dave Blaney. Biffle trying to make up spots. Only up to 35th so far on lap 14. Shuffle back towards the front. That's Johnson looking to the inside for 9th. Can't quite fit the nose there, but that's going to open the door for Kurt Busch to try and take 12th from McMurray. McMurray gets the run off the bottom. This is going to be just like Daytona. McMurray will defend. Martin gets shuffled out of line as Sadler will fill the gap for 14th. Further back up, you can see the pace difference. Only about half a tenth is the difference between Gordon and Labonte, but this is just holding the cars behind Labonte up. Tony's close to the back of the 8, can't quite make a move. Here's where everyone begins to single file out into a groove. Still got about 40-ish laps until pit stops. So it makes no sense to race hard as that's Kane moving into 16th. Looking further up, battle between the teammates there for 7th. Kenseth trying to get to the inside of Burton. Can't quite get there. Still going to at least try and be to his quarter panel on corner entry. That he will. There's just no grip on the outside. You lose so much time. That's going to move Kenseth up a position. Johnson nearly into the back. Johnson's forced to run it way wide, almost going 3 wide on corner exit. That he will. Johnson will slide out of the top 10 and then even more after that mistake. Johnson sends it on the way high groove. Same as the 99. 99's trying to get a run off of it. Johnson struggling up at the top. 23-second lap time shows how slow the top groove is here, as that is Kurt Busch making a move for 10th. Further up here, Newman finally to the inside of Labonte for 4th. Jarrett's going to follow him through to take over 5th. Labonte's trying to fight hard on the outside. Can't really form a run through there. That's going to move Newman and Jarrett into the top 5 on lap 20. Further back, Johnson finally recovered, gaining a few spots. This is allowing the 2 and the 9 to close up to this battle. Kane's breaking into the top 15. Going to take 14th from Biffle on corner exit, or at least tries to. Doesn't really have the run to get anything done from it. Further up here, the battle begins to heat up. Actually, that's Kenseth taking 6th from Labonte. The 18 does not have the pace whatsoever. There's Sadler making a peak to try and take 10th, as that forces Martin way wide, washed up the track massively. Johnson's going to slide into 12th. As the top 2 begin to break away, almost an entire second is the gap from Stewart to Gordon. Still averaging well over 164 miles an hour. Pace is finally beginning to dip off, 0.6 slower than their fastest times, and we're only about a quarter of the way through the race. We're already a quarter of the way through the race. We have been green this entire way. Looking, this is a battle for 21st. Yes, this is a battle for 21st. Now keeps getting slid back as Ward's struggling to make a move. So that's my headset cord bouncing off of my laptop. Nice job breaking kayfabe. Nard's up into the top 35. Biffle sliding back. Getting passed by Dave Blaney and Kyle Petty. Not a good start of the season for that Roush 16. As we begin to move up, Sadler hounding the back of Kurt Busch for a shot at the top 10. Gordon just does not have the pace. 2.8 to Junior's 2.7, losing about a 10th per lap. Labonte's beginning to fall into the clutches of Mayfield and McMurray. McMurray having a really good, strong start to the season. Surprising given the fact CGR is putting most of their focus to the 41, and that 41 car, currently not even in the top 20, barely in the top 25 back in 23rd. Looking, Junior will begin lap number 27. 0.8 is the fall off rate, at least for the race leader. Almost an entire second for Jeff Gordon. There's Mayfield looking to the inside, McMurray looking to the inside of Mayfield for 8th. McMurray will get the spot as Mayfield tries to get in line ahead of the Roush number 97. Mayfield jeopardizing his run. This is allowing Elliott to get to the inside of the 97 as Kurt checks up. Move Elliott Sadler into the top 10. Mark Martin trying to get a run on his Roush teammate. Looks like he'll have the spot as Junior runs it way wide. This allows Kane to get a shot for 13th. I believe this is a battle for 13th. Yes, it is. Further up, Newman's finally stalled out. Jarrett seems to be faster, at least trying to go faster. That's Kane finally getting the move on 13th done for Johnson as Johnson's forced to the high side. Further back up, Junior's Junior's holding. Few more laps. We're going to be a third of the way through the event already. We've been racing about 12 minutes, so this race is clicking by fast without these cautions. Nemechek holds the inside. Terry Labonte getting shuffled back. Labonte's going to get shuffled back to 18th. Still a really good run from Bobby Hamilton Jr., down 7 spots, but this is still a top 20 run for the Phoenix Racing team. Of course, this car, I believe, this car got 10th at Daytona with Kyle Petty behind the wheel. Really good run to have a shot at the owner's chase at the end of the season. And further up, Mayfield holding on to 9th, seems to be going slower. This is allowing Martin to close up as Mayfield makes a look to the inside of the 18. Can't quite get there, just filling the mirrors of Labonte, letting him know, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'll make a move whenever. Nemechek moves into the top 15. Fuel system damage to the 45. See if the 45 will pit. He's within the window. If that damage does get worse, there's a definite pace drop off you can see for Kyle Petty. Further up, Menards up into 33rd. Sauter up into 34th. Not good days. Biffle back in 38th as the leader's already through 1 and 2, and Biffle's well over half a lap behind. We're monitoring the situation for Kyle Petty. That problem is definitely taking a factor. 0.6 slower than the 32. I believe he is the slowest car on track. He is by quite a bit. I expect to see that 45 maybe coming down pit road here soon. He is struggling as my laptop did not appreciate that one. Well over half a second behind the 2 cars behind him. Or half a second slower, rather. As McMurray's trying to make a peek to the inside. Can't quite get to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Again, just doing that same tactic, filling the mirrors. Martin's doing the same thing. There's Jarrett trying to make a look to the inside of Newman. Doesn't have the run off the corner. Slots back in line in 5th. McMurray runs it way wide. Didn't have that good of a corner entry. Still expecting to see Kyle Petty bring it down pit road at any point in time. As these guys are finally hounding in Jeff Gordon. Even while battling, they're still about half a tenth, if not more, faster. That's a move for 12th by Casey Kane. Kane has a strong car. That 9 has shown solid speed. Evernham has shown solid speed. Both their cars inside the top 15. McMurray being patient. It seems a little early for that patience to run out, but he's trying to make a move. Jarrett again peeks to the inside of the 12. Gonna have a bit of a shallow entry, but Kenseth drives it in way deep. Completely misses the mark. Seemed to have been anticipating Jarrett to slide up and just drove it in too deep. There's McMurray finally to the inside of Labonte. Martin to the inside of Mayfield. This is a battle for 7th and 9th in the same frame. McMurray's going to get the move done for 7th. And, Mayfield's going to drop out of the top 10 with that move and open up a shot for Casey Kane. Kane's under pressure from Johnson and looks to be giving the place up to the 48. That he will. Sadler moves up into 10th. Kane's barely going to defend with some drafting help from his teammate. Draft, of course, doesn't really matter here like it does at Daytona, but it still plays a factor. You get that extra mile and a half to defend your position. Mark looking to the inside of Labonte. This is the battle for 8th. Martin can't quite get there. Still expecting to see a Kyle Petty come into pit road sooner or later. Petty first car to drop into the 24-second bracket. Have some cars close on speed, but not really. As Ricky Rudd not having a good day, down in 35th as we're almost halfway through the event. Looks to me like they're going to keep Kyle Petty out there and then try and repair the car on their normal pit stop. Jarrett again, still trying to make a look. Jarrett wants that 4th spot. Jarrett could be faster than Gordon. With the way that he's peaking, he definitely thinks he is. Looking further in the back, that's Martin able to make a move on Labonte. That's going to open the door for Sadler to take 9th from the 18. Labonte, who was up to 4th about 20 laps ago, is all the way down to 10th at the stripe and could be falling out of the top 10 with the Evernham boys right behind him. Never mind, Kane's going to pass his teammate, as that's Kenseth capitalizing on an error. It looks like that's going to be Kenseth into 5th, as that's McMurray trying to take over 6th. Can't quite get to the inside. Yeah, Kane was trying to battle Mayfield. That might cost him in the long run. Almost opened the door for Johnson. Further back here, battle for 15th. That's Rusty Wallace underneath the 01. Bobby Hamilton Jr. coming under threat from faster cars. You look further in the back, there's definitely heavy damage to Kyle Petty's fuel system at this point. He's fallen behind Larry Foyt, as now it's a battle for 40th for Kyle Petty. Not that good of a run after being 10th at Daytona last week. Harvick trying to make a move to the inside of Bobby Hamilton. Can't quite get there. Kane to the inside. Kane's going to take 11th from his teammate, and that's going to open the door for Johnson and others to take the spot from the Evernham car. Johnson's going to try and make a peak again. Can't quite get to the inside of Casey Kane. Kane's going to maintain 11th. Catching 3 lap cars up here. That, of course, being Larry Foyt, Kyle Petty, and Hermie Sadler. Pace for Hermie's fallen off by about 2/10, but the pace for the leaders just about a second and 3/4. As we get closer to lap 50, that pit window is under 10 laps time now. Especially the very end of the pit window, as Junior's running a much higher line. Maybe trying to cool those tires down a little bit. These two have bolted out to well over almost a 4-second gap over Gordon. It's a heavy mistake from Jarrett. That's going to let the 42 get to his inside. McMurray rather gets extremely loose, and that's going to open the door for Mark Martin to get to the inside for 7th. The tires are really impacting these guys. Passes can't be done that well. Johnson getting to the inside. Martin's going to take over 7th. Sadler looks to take over 8th. Further back to the lead, Kyle Petty finally forced to pit with that fuel system damage. He and Hermie Sadler goes a lap down. Petty's going to have the freshest tires out of everyone, but I expect that pit stop to be taking a whole lot longer with that damage done to the car. Under 40 laps to go here, or actually under 50 laps to go rather. Much slower stop than normal. An extra 7, not really 7, closer to about 5 seconds for fixing the fuel system. Kyle Petty comes back out 2 laps down. Likely won't fall a 3rd lap down. Keeping an eye on the pylon, still green. Keeping an eye on everyone. Petty might actually... No, does not fall 3 laps down. He gets close, though. He's going to come out ahead of Larry Foyt. Foyt's being tracked down by the race leaders, but Petty on those much, much fresher tires. He's going to try his best not to go 3 laps down. Checking up heavily. Is there a caution on the track? That's a lot slower than normal. No, that's just tire. And now there's going to be a caution. Craven put in the outside wall. Hold the brakes, hold the brakes. Here comes the race leader. Junior hits Craven. Junior's out. Stewart into Craven, and it's a big mess in turn number 3. The race leaders wrecking into each other. Gordon flips. Everyone just not avoiding. Jeff Gordon barrel rolls down the banking. Huge crash in turn number 4, and that's caused by Kyle Petty trying to be aggressive. Mark Martin with heavy damage. A lot of these guys' days are done. As the 20 car somehow led us back. Heavy damage to the 17. There's going to be a lot of angry drivers with Kyle Petty. The field begins to pace heavy damage to some of the race leaders. Tony Stewart can't. Stewart's trying to lead the field back. He can't. Everyone's going to bring it down pit road. It's open for the pit window. You can make it on fuel. You can make it from tires. But people are furious with Kyle Petty on the radio right now. We can completely understand why. Jeff Gordon's being looked over by medical. He's trying to get medical assistance. Huge crash in turn number 3. There's Mark Martin blowing up. Mark's day is done. This opens the door for many teams, but not in the way people would want. People are furious with that 45 on the radio. Dale Jr.'s day is done. Jr., who dominated this entire race. Jarrett's going to be first out. How much damage are some of these guys going to have? Amazing stop by the 43 crew. Looks to be 4 tires and fuel, and definitely a bunch of damage repair for some of these guys. So we watch Kyle Petty stays out. 17 halting damage repair. A lot of these guys who had a shot, who could have potentially won this race on strategy, are screwed over. Let's get you a replay to see what happened. Let's see the extended damage done to some of these cars here at Rockingham. Plain and simple, a bonehead move from Kyle Petty on fresh tires, trying to make up time for that fuel system damage, drives it in deep and just cleans out Ricky Craven. Craven trying to hold the brakes, slides down the banking, thinks he's good. Junior clips him, Tony Stewart has nowhere to go, and the rest of the field comes flying in, nowhere to go. Huge hit for Gordon. Gordon slides up the banking. Some of these guys just come flying in, have no proper way to go. Of course, Gordon takes that tumble. Drivers trying to keep it clean off of each other. Plain and simple, a bonehead move from Kyle Petty brings out the caution. This NASCAR is going to park the 45 for that incident. Welcome back to Rockingham, where we will be going green on lap 59 and 99 following a massive incident which has taken out many cars, one of which involving what was our race leader at the time, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and a bunch of cars inside the top 10. Now a new look at our top 10. Dale Jarrett with damage, Ryan Newman with hood damage. The 42's first car clean in third, that being Jamie McMurray. Bobby Labonte in fourth. Jimmy Johnson fifth. Jeff Green, a great run up to sixth. Seventh, Kurt Busch. Eighth, Joe Nemechek. Ninth, Kevin Harvick. And 10th is last week's winner, Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty has been called to the hauler after the race. So we are going to go green flag here at Rockingham with 41 laps to go. It's all about monitoring the pace difference between these cars. I don't see the 42 being that strong. Labonte's going to drive it in deep on McMurray. Labonte's trying hard. The 45, I don't think the 45 took tires. This was a short-term gain, long-term loss, it looks like. Labonte's going to make a move for third. Junior's running it way wide. In comes the 43 for tires, I believe. Almost wrecking the field as he pits. This stacks everyone up. Ward forced to check up massively. Thankfully, no one on that inside line wrecked each other. The tires just completely fell off a cliff for that 43, and you can tell how bad it stacked up the field. Dale Jarrett, surprisingly, with all that damage, still leading this race and is actually trying to pull away from Ryan Newman. McMurray's move, or rather, McMurray wasn't able to make a move and is losing a bunch of time. The 43 will go a lap down, almost goes 2 down. Really stupid move by Petty Enterprises, leaving the 43 out like that and only taking fuel in a situation where you knew you had to take tires to make it work. Labonte making a move for second, more than likely going to stick. Here comes Jeff Green. Green's going to merge up into the racing line. Whew, that's close. It's going to force Labonte into a mistake. This is going to help Johnson. This is going to impact the battle for second massively as Johnson makes a look to the inside for Labonte. Johnson's going to try and take second, and Johnson definitely will take second with that run on the top side. Newman getting feisty with the back bumper of the 43. Now Johnson begins the hunt down Dale Jarrett. Looking further in the back, Paul Menard with a great recovery drive after all the drama. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still in the top 20. Good run from John Andretti, 12th currently. Newman's being held up, not really severely, especially with that damage, but definitely being held up by Jeff Green. Further toward the front, 6/10 was the gap previous time by Johnson. Junior's out of this race. Johnson is closing a ton on that crippled 88. We look on board, you can see that right front damage, especially from TV cameras. You can see that right side got pancaked from contact. Jarrett's still going to try and fight. Jarrett, he could have a car to win this race if things go his way, as we're 2/3 of the way through the event. Look further in the back, we got 32 cars on track. 31 cars on the lead lap. Jarrett's trying. He is pushing as hard as he can. But it's not going to be enough, especially with that damage. Johnson already onto the back of the 88. Labonte trying to close that gap, but Bobby does not have the car to keep up. There we go. Johnson makes a look to the inside. He's looking to take the race lead. Jarrett can't really put up a fight. Jimmy Johnson will take the race lead here at Rockingham. Johnson not really moving up. Going to take a bit of a shallow line on corner entries. Jarrett sails it in deep. Moves out the way. That lets Labonte take over second. McMurray's going to try and take third. 43 still somewhat holding up the 12. Here comes the rest of the field. Good run from the 01. John Andretti trying to hold on to 12th. Vickers up in 13th. Hamilton has dropped to 17th, but still a really good run for that Phoenix Racing crew. .18 was the gap at the lot, rather .23. Johnson is faster than Labonte. Johnson has had one of the fastest cars all day. He has set the fastest lap all day. Looking through the 18, hasn't really had the speed, only 6th fastest. His best time, almost an entire 10th slower than Johnson. Lost about half a 10th that lap, but Jarrett still trying to cling on to a top 5, battling for 4th currently. It's Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch has the speed. Kurt could be the one to contend with Johnson. Further back, McMurray trapped on the high side. Could be losing 5th here. Potentially could lose 6th as these guys close up to him. Further in the back, Menard drops down to 28th. Good run from Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy Spencer battling for a top 20. Bobby Hamilton trying to stay in the top 20 as well. For the back up towards the front, Johnson just slowly extending that gap. Labonte just does not have the car. I don't see any damage on that night on the 18. Is there? Nope, no damage. Jarrett still, he's somehow 4th, getting helped by Jeff Green. Some of these guys not really wanting to be aggressive, especially after Green pit in front of the entire field early on. Waltrip hounding the back bumper of Scott Riggs for 16th. Lap 75 and 99, coming to 25 laps to go. Actually, this is 25 to go. It's all but Johnson's race to lose now. Fastest car on track Not Johnson, that's Kurt Busch. Kurt's only faster by about 200ths, but that short gap could still give him enough time to reel him in. Nah, probably not. Riggs is going to drop back to 18th. Jimmy Spencer inside the top 20 as the 09's dropped back to 27th. 28th, rather. Further back up through the field, Kurt Busch still the fastest car on track. Yes, he is, but just barely. Actually, no. Dale Jarrett. Wait. Yeah. Jarrett with that damage is still the fastest car on track. That right front is not hindering the 88 whatsoever. I don't see him having a shot at winning because he's running similar laps to Johnson, but that Roush, not Roush, the Roberts Yates car, not wanting to give up as we're getting closer to 20 laps to go here. Further in the back, we've really mostly single filed out. That's a battle between two rookies in Sauter and Gone. Blaney passing his old car for 23rd. That's Wimmer battling Riggs for 18th. Can't quite get to the inside. Waltrip getting closer to the top 15. Mears on a recovery drive up into 13th. Could have a shot at the top 10, especially with the damage done to the 12. McMurray still trying to get by Jeff Green. Cannot get clear of that 43. Looking further up through the field, just under 20 laps to go. Looks to be all but Johnson's race to lose now. Gap well over half a second. Kurt's closing. That he is definitely closing. Jarrett's slowly starting to lose pace. Of course, that damage, it may help cool the right front, but it definitely hurts the aerodynamics. Kurt trying to get by Labonte as fast as possible. Bobby's not going to make it easy for him. Kurt gets by. He could have a shot at Johnson, but how much of his equipment is he going to use up trying to get by the JGR-18? Answer, way too much. Kurt swings it out wide. He's pushing hard to get by the 18. If Johnson can just save from here. Kurt's losing time. Of course, Labonte's never really made any inroads at all this stint on Johnson after he got by him. Further back, Jeff Burns still maintaining 11th after his outside pole. Further up towards the front, Johnson is just walking away with this thing. 3/4 of a second is that gap back from Johnson to Kurt Busch. Kurt's definitely losing time. Further in the back, McMurray's clinging to a top 5. Nemechek with a good run in 6th. Jeff Byrne could have a shot at a top 10. Mears is closing. Andretti's still within a top 15. Speaking of 15, Michael Waltrip back here hounding the 5 car for 15th. Johnny Sauter cracking into the top 20 after a horrible start to the day. Bobby Hamilton about to fall out of the top 30 after running 20th before the caution. As the pace begins to slow back down, well over a second of wear already on these tires. Of course, no need to worry, especially with the pit stop. We're well within the window. Nemechek runs it way wide, gonna lose 6th. It actually allows Newman to catch up to some of these guys. We go 3 wide. Nemechek almost puts himself in the wall. He's going to drop back down to 10th. Slight contact between Mayfield and Newman right there. Nemechek from 6th to 10th in under a lap. Almost outside of the top 10 as here comes Jeff Burton. 11 laps to go, going to be 10 to go at the stripe. Johnson has this one sealed. The top 4 beginning to waltz away. Mayfield drives it in way too deep. This opens the door for Jeff Burton to try and take 10th away from him. Newman's all the way up to 8th after all that. That damaged car could still have a shot at the top 10. Mears could have a shot at a top 10 as well if he gets on it hard enough. There's Terry making a look for 14th on Andretti. Can't quite get to the inside of the one car. Johnson with less than 10 laps to go. All he needs to do is just bring the car home. Don't do anything special. Bring it home. Jarrett's closing in by about half a tenth to a tenth per lap on these guys up here. Jarrett could still have a shot at a second place with that damaged race car. Wallace hounding the back bumper of McMurray. He wants a top 5. Of course, Rusty Wallace, winner of the Daytona 500 last week. Trying to flex his muscles, trying to get a good run. Burton up into 10th. A really solid run for that Roush 99. Here's Casey Mears. Mears actually slower than those guys ahead of him. Really just needs to bring the car home. Waltrip trying to get a top 15. Hopefully not at the expense of his teammate. Looking further through the field, Hamilton being hounded. Menard looks like he's going to come home 28th after replacing Sterling Marlin. Getting closer to 5 laps to go. Spencer falling out of the top 10. Could fall out of the top 25 before the end of the day. Sauter's looking like he's going to come home 19th. But with 5 to go, Johnson has almost a second gap over Bobby Labonte. So let's watch the final 5 laps for Jimmy Johnson. Looks like no real change is going to go on for second. No problems to report for any of the cars. Pace dropping off well over a second and a half. None of that matters. 4 laps to go for Jimmy Johnson. No threats to worry about. Larry Foyt's a little too far up the road to worry about lap traffic. Johnson getting really lucky with that incident between Kyle Petty and Ricky Craven. Top 2 cars taken out. Got helped. I wouldn't really say helped trying to get by leaders. Johnson just had a much better car than Bobby Labonte all day. We're coming through turns 3 and 4, about a little over 2 miles to go for Jimmy Johnson as he's going to take 2 to go. Well over a second, or at least just about a second, not well over a second. Through 1 and 2 clean. Larry Foyt, he may be in frame, but he's too far ahead to worry about. Actually going to be a good run for that 14 team, going to come home in 30th. Through turns 3 and 4, flagman with the white flag in the air. Johnson is going to begin his final lap here at Rockingham. Through 1 and 2 clean again. Look at that pace drop off, 1.6 seconds. The 4 car had to pit for fuel. They underfilled the 4 car. Some people might not be good on fuel. It's going to help the 14 for sure. That's what put him in the top 30. None of that matters for Johnson, though. Jimmy Johnson will come home to win here at Rockingham. Labonte second, Kurt Busch third, Dale Jarrett fourth. Rest of the field will flash by your screen. Rusty Wallace brings it home fifth. Good 6th place result for Jamie McMurray. Harvick 7th. Newman brings it home 8th with that damage. Harvick was hounding, almost had a shot for 6th. 9th is Joe Nemechek, and 10th is Jeremy Mayfield. Look at the rest of your field. 11th, Jeff Burton. Burton just slid outside of the top 10. Mears 12th, Vickers 13th, Andretti 14th, Terry Labonte in 15th. Wimmer 16th. Michael Waltrip lost a spot towards the end of the race, brings it home 17th. Ward Byrne 18th. Johnny Sauter 19th. And Ken Schrader rounds out your top 20. Dave Blaney 21st. Ricky Rudd 22nd. Greg Biffle 23rd. Scott Riggs 24th. And Brendan Gaughan is 25th. 26th, Robbie Gordon. 27th for Paul Menard as he replaced Sterling Marlin. And 28th is Todd Bodine. 29th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. And 30th is Larry Foyt. 31st, Jimmy Spencer. And 32nd is Jeff Green. 33rd, Matt Kenseth was brought in by his crew. 34th, Tony Stewart. 35th, Mark Martin. 36th, Casey Kane. 37th, Elliott Sadler. 38th, Jeff Gordon. And 39th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. were involved in that incident. Kyle Petty, of course, was parked by NASCAR. He'll be dropped down to 42nd. Ricky Craven will in turn finish 40th, and Hermie Sadler will finish 41st. Thank you all for watching. Next week we'll head out to the desert as we go to the Sin City, Las Vegas. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and I am once again grateful for hosting another race here for you guys.